let me refer the House to Order 31, Rule O of our standing orders. And with your permission, I read. Mr. Speaker, the said rule states, and I quote, any act or omission which affronts the dignity or authority of Parliament, or which tends either directly or indirectly to bring the name of Parliament into disrepute. Mr. Speaker, such an act constitutes contempt of Parliament or breach of parliamentary privilege, if you read from Order 31. Mr. Speaker, and therefore, the ordeal the Minority Chief Whip was subjected to is one which clearly not only affronts the dignity of the Minority Chief Whip, but affronts the dignity and authority of Parliament as a whole. So, Speaker, we've all watched the video, and I should say that I was particularly surprised at the conduct of the lady in question. So, Speaker, I don't know her that well, but I know her casually, and I know her enough to know, Mr. Speaker, that he's a senior member of the bar. He's a senior lawyer, and he's been around and done a few things in our country. And so I almost did not believe that, and of course, this was a video, and therefore, as I say, I was terribly surprised that a senior lawyer of her age and all of that could utter such words, Mr. Speaker. The Minority Chief Whip is repeated some of them, but I'm not too sure that I will, for example, with the greatest of respect, Mr. Speaker, show a video like that to my children. Because, I mean, when we are involved in public engagement, we should be mindful of all of these. And Mr. Speaker, there's one final point I think is absolutely important that we underscore. Mr. Speaker, this our democracy is come of age. We began this democracy from 1993. We've seen a series of changes of government. I think this is about the fourth change of government. And Mr. Speaker, the issue or the concept of arrogance of power is one that I believe we should all be mindful of. Mr. Speaker, if you allow me, I will refer to the founder of the NDC himself, President Rawlings, who's had several occasions to make submissions and analysis of arrogance of power. And I think Mr. Speaker himself, in some of your official statements, you've underscored this point of the need for us to eschew arrogance of power. So, Speaker, this government is less than 1 month old. And I don't say this from a partisan lens, but I say this as a canker that we all should watch. Those of us who are the privilege of serving in the erstwhile government, the jury is still out there, how we conducted ourselves. Our colleagues can attest how we conducted ourselves. But those who've been given the opportunity and privilege to serve now, I think it's absolutely important that they be mindful that they are serving at the behest of the people. And therefore, they should serve in humility. And they should serve with respect. Just because the president himself, and I refer to President Mahama, has had multiple occasions to call on his appointees to eschew arrogance of power. His first swearing-in ceremony, which was the time he sworn in the respected Minister for Education and others, this was a theme, the major theme he spoke to. But Mr. Speaker, we are here, seeing appointees, with the greatest of respect, beginning to behave in all manner of ways. And it's just less than 1 month. It's less than 1 month. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to support the call by the Minority Chief Whip and also pay some attention to the point made by the Minister for Roads and Highways. And Mr. Speaker, in your wisdom, will strike the careful balance. But it's important that we use this as an example to send a clear signal to the country and the population that Parliament will not be disrespected. And I think in so doing, it will also be important that those who have been given the privilege to serve at the behest of the people as servants of the people. In a democracy, you serve as a servant of the people and not to lord it over them. We'll be mindful of arrogance, of power. I want to conclude, Mr. Speaker, by commending highly the minority chief whip, the member of parliament for Nsawam Aduajiri, the Honorable Annor Dompreh, for how he collected himself and how calm he was. I'm not too sure if I will be able to pass that test. But he was very calm. And in the wake of provocation, insults, and the rest, all he could say was that I will take this matter up. And rightly so, he's taking it up here. And I believe that, Mr. Speaker, Parliament and yourself should support him and support the House and make sure that the dignity and authority of Parliament is preserved and protected. I thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to add my voice to the issue our Chief Whip raised. And the amazing part is a woman and a man. Mr. Speaker, as a leader of the women in this caucus, I will plead with our Chief Whip that he should leave it for me. I'm going to call the lady in question and advise her on how to handle issues. He's not a member of parliament, but she's a woman. I'm a woman, a leader of the women caucus. He should just, it's a man and a woman issue. Mr. Speaker, the Chief Whip, the woman has apologized already there. So leave the rest for me as leader of the women caucus, Mr. Speaker, so that I will advise her on how to handle issues when he's in our premises in Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I'm just pleading with the Chief Whip that we should just leave this case so that as a women caucus, we invite her and then advise her appropriately. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I rise to support Majority Chief Whip. Mr. Speaker, the action of the lady is unacceptable. As a woman, I will advise her to apologize and retract the words using on the Chief Whip as soon as possible. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the justified request made by the minority whip of conduct he feels damages his standing and reputation as an elected member of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, as I listen to him, we only can appeal to him that we share what the Honorable Member for Damangu said, that this House must stand united, indeed unanimous, in condemning the conduct and in demanding an apology and a retraction of it, but to persuade our colleague not to pursue further, wanting this matter resolved at the Privileges Committee. Mr. Speaker, the mention of it even on the floor of this House will send some warning to the public and non-members of this House that the Parliament of Ghana is clothed with both penal and disciplinary powers vested in it by virtue of Article 122 of the 1992 Constitution. And Mr. Speaker, contempt You have been a torchbearer of wanting to preserve the honor and dignity of Parliament, the honor and dignity of members of Parliament, and more importantly, the honor and dignity of our political class. So, to honorable members, we do not and we should not accept that conduct and that insult. Today it is him, tomorrow it may be you. That is why we must stand united in condemning it. But to honorable minority whip, I'm pleading with you that because it's a woman, and you know Ghanaian society and our patriarchal values, forgive her. But before the forgiveness, as the Honorable Doyo, the Deputy Whip said, leader, the Honorable Mama Yarga, we should get the affected person to render an unqualified apology to the minority whip and follow with a retraction of the story, and that should let matters rest. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with all the statements and the prayers made by earlier speakers, I wouldn't have made any comments to this effect. But, Mr. Speaker, I was a witness in this matter. Mr. Speaker, I saw every step and every reaction and posture of the lady who is the subject matter of this discussion. Mr. Speaker, when she was given the opportunity to apologize, Mr. Speaker, her posture did not show anyone who had come in to show remorse. And Mr. Speaker, what my seniors did not know was when the minority leader, minority chief whip, had agreed to a said apology, Mr. Speaker, she did not see some of us on the corridor, and she made another very ill statement that, Mr. Speaker, I know how you are passionate about protecting members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, I felt very sad, and my prayer is that you respectfully, you should make those consequential orders.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Member for Tamale South and Minister for Education has made a very profound statement, which goes to mitigation. And I want to add my voice to his plea that admittedly the lady in question acted in a manner which is contemptuous of this House. But, Mr. Speaker, should the power of this House to punish for contempt be exercised whenever it is committed? The answer is no. Parliament's power to commit for contempt must be exercised sparingly. Mr. Speaker, I've been in this House for quite some time, and I remember vividly when Black Rasta described members of this House as weed smokers. He was rightly cited for contempt. But, Mr. Speaker, this House mitigated his punishment because even before he was brought before the Privileges Committee, he had found it necessary to render an unqualified apology. Mr. Speaker, listening to the minority whip who fell victim to the act of contempt, some form of mitigation has been done. The lady rendered an apology. She did. Whether the apology is satisfactory or not is another matter. And so, Mr. Speaker, rather than escalate the matter by making a referral to the Privileges Committee, I would pray you to, Mr. Speaker, make mild consequential orders so that the lady is asked to render a second apology, this time around in a manner that may be satisfactory to the honorable and respected Minority Chief Whip. Fortunately for us, Mr. Speaker, the Women's Caucus, and I know Honorable Doyo is one of the leading members of the Women's Caucus, have also made an undertaking to intervene in the matter and ensure that the lady in question does the needful by purging herself of the contempt. Mr. Speaker, with those few words, I want to pray that justice be tempered with mercy. All of us can fall victim to what the lady did, but once she has rendered the apology, even before this matter was raised on the floor, I think that her conduct should be mitigated and we allow sleeping dogs lie. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I'd just like to make a comment. When I saw my attention was drawn to the video, I was actually saddened. I wasn't angry, but I was actually saddened that a lady had behaved in that manner. Because here we are in Parliament pushing to implement affirmative action, where, if you recall, I spoke on the affirmative action the other day, and we're all trying to push for it, make sure that women in leadership, we raise the numbers, and that we recognize women in leadership in Parliament and outside Parliament. So I was very saddened to see another woman actually who is going to take up a leadership role as a CEO of the Petroleum Commission, actually describing the Minority Chief Whip in that manner. When you get into the public space, when you become a public figure, you chose to become a public figure, and you have to watch your demeanor, your behavior at all times, wherever you find yourself, okay? So that's why I was saddened, because I was actually happy, yes, I was happy to see her appointment, that she had been appointed as the CEO of Petroleum Commission. I don't know the lady. I really don't know her. I've never spoken to her, but I was happy for her. Because here was a woman who was being appointed to a high position at the Petroleum Commission. So I was extremely happy. So that's why I was saddened to see what had occurred. We have to be a role model for our children, for the youth. So it is not, and that goes for all of us. So I believe that because they learned from us, they learned from you, they learned from me, they learned from all of us. We're role models. So we really have to take a step back, even under tension, take a step back, take a deep breath, and then control your reaction. There are chances where you want to flare up, but you have to remind yourself that people are watching, because now you're a public figure. It's very difficult, I find now, that when you're a public figure, because everybody is watching you, and so, but that's what you chose. You chose the service, the public service. So I would advise her as a fellow sister to apologize and to retract in the same manner where she voiced out her opinion or description. That's my advice to her. But I wish her well. I don't mean anything. I'm not trying to malign her at all. But we need more leaders. We need more women. We need more women in the leadership positions. We need more women, and we're fighting. And I will always fight to have more women in leadership positions. So that's my advice to her. Having this attitude doesn't help women. It doesn't help women because women, let me tell you something. When a woman is confident, sometimes in our culture, it's seen as you're arrogant, okay? When a woman is assertive, sometimes in our culture, it's seen as you're too known because you're arrogant and you're confident. But in this case, it was insulting. It was offensive. So there's no, you can't justify it. So all I'm saying is that she should apologize, just as my senior Honorable Haruna said, and the other honorable member said. She should apologize and retract. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Before I proceed, let me appeal to our minority chief whip to reconsider his decision to invoke the provisions of Order 33, 34, 31, and 48 of our standing orders and make a complaint of contempt and have the complaint referred to the Privileges Committee. That's an appeal. That's an appeal. But going further, I have a policy in life never to condemn people without having heard them. That's a policy I have in life. Mr. Speaker, under Order 34.1 of our standing orders, when a complaint is made, you may direct that it be referred to the Privileges Committee. You may. You may also give other directives. It is not that you shall, but that you may. The appeal that has been made by our side is that we give the lady an opportunity to apologize publicly to the minority chief whip and plead with the minority chief whip to pardon her and let the matter end there so that we do not take her through the rigors of appearing before our Privileges Committee. So I believe that there are two things that could happen: that the minority chief whip agrees not to press charges, not to pursue his rights under Order 33, 34, 48. Another thing that could happen is for you to direct that the two leaders meet with the offending party and secure an unqualified public apology to the minority chief whip pursuant to your powers under Order 34 so that we can have an unqualified apology being rendered by her. But for the education of ourselves, let's be mindful of what actually is contempt. Let's be mindful of what actually is contempt.
let's be mindful of at what point somebody can be said to be in contempt. At this stage, we are just making a complaint of what we believe to be contempt. The reason is that I've heard colleagues in their speeches say that or refer to the lady as being in contempt. At this stage, let it not be captured in our official records that we in this House concluded that she is in contempt. She has done something that we don't accept. We will never accept it. We condemn it. We are appealing to the Speaker to give us an opportunity to engage her and to request her to apologize to the minority chief whip. But at this stage, to the minority chief whip, he is the person making the complaint. Of course, when we secure respect for us individually, we secure respect for the House as a parliament. But strictly speaking, we will be securing an apology to our colleague, the minority chief whip. So, Mr. Speaker, let me conclude by once again appealing to our colleague, the minority chief whip, who we know to be a gentleman, not to press charges, not to pursue his rights under Order 33 and 34, but then also to request and apply that you direct the lady to meet with the leadership so that we can discuss it and negotiate and secure an unqualified public apology to satisfy our colleague, the minority chief whip. Thank you very much.
Because we are who?
I'm who? Why?
Why don't bring yourself?
What's the meaning of that?
What do you mean you are taking me on? What does that phrase
You
mean?
hold us micro.
When you are micro minority, doesn't Aveno himself use that phrase?
Who deal with that?
I don't have time for
Who deal with that?
You think you can bully me here? Hey.
Honorable members, I think your leaders have spoken. And we also
What is silly?
You heard the word used. What called me silly?
the matter, I believe,
Are you a silly child?
No.
in the
Who deal with this one?
circumstances in which we are, they fall directly under my duties as the Speaker of Parliament. And so I've heard the complaint, I've listened to the comments of members. I will proceed to invite the lady concerned and to personally go into the matter and take the appropriate action. As at now, I don't have before me a lot of determining facts, and so I have to inquire into it myself, because we don't have the Privileges and Immunities Committee in place. And definitely, if you read your standing orders, you will see that that is one of the areas that you have reserved for the Speaker of Parliament. And so I will take up this matter myself, and I will report back to the House, because I will grant opportunity to the complainant and the suspect, and I will go into the matter, take the appropriate action, and report back to the House. And definitely, I'll grant opportunity to the complainant in the House to make comments about my determination. And I think this will assist in solving the matter. But let me state here once more. Without Parliament, there is no democracy. Without respect for Parliament and parliamentarians, there is no democracy. We are the protectors of the rights and the dignities of our people. If we ourselves are endangered species, then nothing is left for our country. This is not the first time we're witnessing this. Since the inception of the Fourth Republic, we have so many instances of these conducts towards members of parliament. And people have always waved them off as if they don't matter. But these are some of the termites eating and crushing our democracy. But even members themselves don't take them serious. I think we need to. But before we ask for our pound of flesh, respect is earned. Please. Appointments Committee, we have crafted rules of how Appointments Committee should conduct the business of public hearing. That is the term used, public hearing of nominees of the presidents. I'm not too sure there's reference to those rules in what I am witnessing myself. And I've received so many complaints from observers in Ghana and outside Ghana. This is an opportunity for me to draw your attention to it. That please, respect is earned. How we behave or misbehave will determine how the people will behave towards us or misbehave towards us. I am not referring to the complaint that they've just lodged, because I know the minority chief very well. And I know he has strong views, but he knows how to comport himself. So I'm not referring to this instant issue, but generally, members, you are referred to as honorable. Behave honorably. The one who said amen, if I knew him, I'll commit you for contempt. And this will be contempt in facie curia. And please read the standing orders and see the sanctions of contempt. It's not a laughing matter. It's not a laughing matter. It's not me you are referring to, it's the house. And as I keep on saying, if you insult your father, your child will beat you. That's how the world is created. Please, let's be more serious than we are. I end it here. I will, by Thursday, because tomorrow I will not be available. Thursday, I'll handle the matter, and by Friday, I'll revert back to the House. I hope this is acceptable to the House. Thank you so much. Please, I am informed that we have a few statements to be made, and it's the understanding of the leadership of the House that we grant more space to the first-timers to make these statements. And so we will start with some of the statements today, and then it will continue tomorrow. Yes. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, some reports of the Appointments Committee are ready for laying. So I will appreciate it if we could vary the order of business and have the reports laid and then distributed whilst we revert to item 7, and then arrange for the chairman of the Appointments Committee to come, and we'll take those reports later.
Yes, minority from bench.
Speaker, ordinarily I should be speaking in support. However, my leader and senior member of the House also knows as a fact that before papers are laid, of course the procedure is defined in the orders, but I haven't heard from the ranking member. I have not gotten any indication. I don't know if the chairman has indicated to you if indeed these reports are ready and perused, because where there are no controversies, there is a straightforward matter. So if you can speak so that you'll be on record that at least there has been some agreement between the two parties, I have no problem supporting you in laying the papers.
So, Speaker, I actually have clear indication from the clerk at table that the reports are indeed ready, which means that they've been signed by the relevant signatories, which definitely is based on agreement by both sides.
Yes, actually, I've just been given a copy of the report, but my attention has been drawn to the fact that we haven't even corrected the votes and proceedings for today, for yesterday. So kindly let us go through that quickly, and then we come to the issue of the report. Honorable members, I think there's an oversight. Let's correct the votes and proceedings by taking item 6. Item 6. What I did earlier in the morning was item 5. So we'll take item 6, correction of votes and proceedings and official report. We'll start with the correction of votes and proceedings of Friday, 24th January 2025. Page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, page 8, sorry, page 7.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, page 7, communication from the President. Mr. Speaker, I'm aware the President traveled with a presidential jet. And, Mr. Speaker, since the House is a house of records, our respected colleagues on the other side debated on the fact that the President is using his brother's aircraft, which is not even rented anyway. So, Mr. Speaker, I seek your direction if it can also be captured that in the last 8 years, a presidential jet was rejected. And, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, and within 3 weeks, as the president of the country is using the presidential jet for the first time. Mr. Speaker, I seek your direction to be captured. May God bless President Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if I remember clearly, the former minister, my senior Honorable Abujinapo, was explaining the circumstances. Honorable Dominic Nitu was explaining the circumstances surrounding the presidential jet. And I remember clearly, Mr. Speaker, when he said that the presidential jet was sent to France for a period of about 8 months for service and is returned and is in good shape. And so the president should be able to use it. I don't remember anywhere that anybody made a comment that the presidential jet was away for 8 years and was not used for 8 years. So, Mr. Speaker, I will entreat my honorable member to withdraw that comment that our side made such a comment. He should withdraw, and that it should reflect. And Mr. Speaker, it should reflect that our side did not make any such comment, and that it wasn't for 8 years. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
You have been applauded.
Honorable Speaker, my understanding of this session, votes and proceedings, we are supposed to correct the minutes of the preceding case sitting. The matter he is raising didn't happen on Friday, so he is completely out of order. He is completely wrong. I know. Ruling lies in the bosom of Mr. Speaker, but I have the right to let him understand that what he is discussing didn't happen on Friday. It didn't. So it's wrong. Mr. Speaker, I will be happy if some of our seniors, like Honorable Bamboy, are taught the proper proceedings and procedure of this House. He is wrong, and you are encouraging what is wrong. That is completely unacceptable, Honorable Bamboy. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very grateful. Mr. Speaker, my colleague from the other side mentioned Bole Bamboy, and I'm here to represent the good people of Bole Bamboy. Mr. Speaker, ordinarily, I shouldn't be standing on my feet and making comments. We are looking at the votes and proceedings. And so if you have any correction to make, you make the correction. And so if a newcomer, a first-timer, has said something or done something contrary to what it's supposed to be, it is not you, a second-timer, to also commit same crime. You're supposed to allow the speaker who has the right to do the correction. So next time, you should avert your mind to the fact that you've been here for second term and that you were even privileged to become a deputy minister. I know you are a very highly learned person. You hold a PhD, a professor. So it shouldn't be difficult for learn these basic things very, very fast. Yes, Speaker, I'm grateful, and I know my brother will take a clue from what I've just said to him. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think we are here as colleagues. And if a colleague errs, or if a colleague says something, it is up to us to draw the Speaker's attention to the fact that a colleague who has just made a statement, that statement is inaccurate. And we invite Speaker to step in and give the right ruling. I don't see why my friend from Bole, or the honorable member from Bole, is taking on my colleague here and even trying as much as possible to punch holes into his credibility. Because that is not the friend I know. In any case, Order 70 talks purely about corrections of vote and proceedings. And that is exactly what we were doing on the floor. So if my friend is introducing something different, it is up to colleagues here to draw his attention to the fact that, and let the Speaker know that that brother of ours or colleague of ours is out of order. And that is exactly what he was doing. So I don't see why you say we should not comment on what my colleague from the other side is saying. So we should keep quiet and let the Speaker come out with the ruling. We all know that Speaker is the father of this House. And obviously will be ruling. But we'll have to point to our colleague that even the issue is raising has nothing to do with the votes and proceedings on Friday. We will leave that to Speaker. We'll let Speaker know. In any case, I also want my friends to know that any time a president is traveling, they don't include the flight details to the communication. So he should not tell the public. So, Mr. Speaker, I want my friend from Bole to know that what my honorable friend from this side has said is up. And that colleague of ours, although he refers to him as a first-timer, I think that he's completely out of order. And Speaker, we expect your direction on this matter. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes, honorable members, please, let's proceed. Honorable member, you are out of order. What you refer to is not part of what we are doing on the correction of votes and proceedings. Please, we can proceed from there. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. Honorable members, in the absence of any correction, the votes and proceedings of sitting dated Friday, 24th January 2024, is adopted as a true record of proceedings. Honorable members, I don't have a copy of any official report. I've just been handed over a copy of a communication from one of the members of parliament, in the person of Honorable Ohene Kwame Frimpong, Member of Parliament for Asante Achim North constituency. It's dated 28th January 2025 to the Right Honorable Speaker, Parliament of Ghana, Parliament House, Accra, Ghana. Dear Right Honorable Speaker, declaration of decision to caucus with the majority in the 9th Parliament. Pursuant to your directive on Wednesday, January 8, 2025, requiring all independent members of Parliament to officially communicate their decision to align with either side of the House, I write to declare my decision to caucus with the majority in Parliament, being the National Democratic Congress, NDC. This decision reflects my commitment to the supreme interests of the people of Asante Achim North constituency, whom I am privileged to represent. After thorough consideration, I am confident that aligning with the majority will create a conducive environment necessary to champion development and progress for my constituents. As always, my priority is to serve and advance the welfare of my constituency. I trust this decision will enhance collaboration and resource mobilization for their benefit. Thank you. Respectfully yours, Honorable Ohene Kwame Frimpong, signed. Honorable members, I will consider the application made earlier on for us to vary the order of business, and I will proceed to do so, and let us move to item 8, that is at the commencement of public business. Item 8, presentation of papers. The following papers to be presented. 8A, by the chairman of the committee. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, here again, I seek your leave to be able to lay the report. Ordinarily, the report should be laid by a member of the committee or the chairperson of the committee, but they are presently sitting. That is why we want to seek your leave to lay the report on behalf of the chairman or members of the committee.
The leadership of the minority.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, we are not opposed to it.
Thank you. Honorable members, I will proceed to call on the majority leader to lay the report of the Appointments Committee on and on behalf of the chairman of the committee. Yes, please, you may do so.
7th report of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency the President's nomination for appointment as ministers.
Honorable members, the said 7th report is accordingly presented to the House and is for distribution to all members of Parliament. May I now go back to the order of business and for us to take item 7, which is statements. And as I indicated earlier on, we have a number of statements. And I think all the statements we have 4 in number are from the first-time members. You'll be given the opportunity to read some today. They are very lengthy statements. And we propose that you do some orientation on statement writing. We don't write them like theses, but that's what you have done. And for the first time, it's permitted. You have to be taken through the ropes. So the second deputy speaker will take the chair, and as many as possible will be done today. If they are not finished, you continue tomorrow. But I'll call on the first statement. Stands in the name of the honorable member for, what's the first one? You want Jomoro to start first? Sunyani West. Sunyani West first. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for admitting my statement on the formalization of the informal sector economy of Ghana. This past weekend, I visited my constituency to interact with them. In particular, I listened to the appeal of women hawking in the streets and market women that I should not forget about them. It then dawned on me that we easily forget about them because they largely operate in the informal sector of the economy and get excluded, marginalized because they do not feature in any of our records. As I thought about them, I felt the urge to speak about them in this House. This statement is therefore about our sisters, our mothers, our brothers, and our fathers who operate and function in the informal sector. The Ghana Statistical Service and other reputable databases suggest that in the year 2013, the informal sector employed about 65.3% of the active labor force in Ghana. And in the year 2019, the informal sector was estimated to represent about 35.65% of the Ghanaian economy, approximately 66 billion USD of the GDP purchasing power parity level. As at 2024, the informal sector accounted for 88 billion USD of the GDP purchasing power parity level, representing some 35.7% of GDP. These figures are staggering, yet they operate out of the formal sector. There are the streets, vendors, market traders, small-scale farmers, agricultural producers, artisans, craftsmen, repair service producers, transport operators like the Trotro, Taxi, Pragya, or John Mahama Kambu, and many small-scale manufacturing and process, and a host of them. Sunyani West constituency has many of them, like any other constituencies in Ghana. Their businesses are not registered. They are not documented. The tax authorities do not know much about their operations. They tend not to get the help they need from the state. They are denied credit and financing by credit and banking institutions. They could contribute enormously to the tax revenue. Mr. Speaker, I know that my women and men operating in the shadow of informal sector want to be known to the state, and they want to support of the state to grow their businesses. They want to benefit from the credit schemes and financing opportunities from the state agencies and the banking sector generally. Many are startups and want us to push them and nurture them. They want to benefit from the skill training capacity development programs so they can file their taxes returns easily and put application for credit and manage their relationship with the credit agencies and bankers. My conversation with my constituents in the informal sector reveals that they don't trust the institution because these institutions tend to be bureaucratic, slow, and inefficient. They believe that our state institutions, through their licensing scheme, regime, permitting system, and corrupt, would only add another layer of unhelpful cost burden to their businesses. My first appeal to this House is that the market women in Sunyani and the villages around expect us to make it simpler, faster, and easier for them to migrate to the formal sector. They say that, and also want to benefit known and supported by the state. We should simplify the law on business registration. We should make it easier for them to register at the office of the assembly member, which is near them, and receive registration certificates from him or her. At that office, their tax registration and annual returns can be filed and made very easy. It should not take much time to do so. Many of the women told me they are excited because the NDC manifesto promised to do exactly that, to bring business registration to their doorstep, to make it one-stop shop, to make it very easy and non-time consuming. They are waiting for us to keep our word. I have no doubt that we will. I intend to spend my days in this chamber pursuing this matter for the women and men of the informal sector of Sunyani. Right Honorable Speaker, one elderly man in my constituency asked me to extend his greetings to the Honorable Kesin Atoforsen, the Minister of Finance, and that he watched his vetting before the appointment committee and was thrilled to learn that in future, a mechanism that ensures that part of his taxes could be set aside for his pension. Such innovation and many others should be considered by the House to encourage migration to the formal sector. We can reap great benefits as an economy. We in this House must keep an eye on every government's policies and programs with an eye to ensure the embedded in these policies and programs are tools and strategies to capture and document and formalize our informal sector. Many such policies and programs will be coming to the House soon. They include the establishment of the Women's Development Bank, the 550 million Ghana cedis Youth Microcredit Entrepreneurs Fund, the Overwhelm Maslot Scheme, the Exim Bank Ghana Loan Scheme, and the activities of the newly established Bank of Ghana. There are many others in the NDC manifesto which will soon be translated into policies and programs. Mr. Speaker, whilst I take this opportunity to thank you for granting me this maiden statement, permit me to express my profound gratitude to the chiefs and the good people of Sunyani West for electing me to represent them in Parliament. This is the first time since the Fourth Republic that my party, the NDC, and a woman has competitively won any of the Sunyani seats. And I am extremely proud of this honor done me by my good people of Sunyani West. I promise to remain on the side of the ordinary people of Sunyani West constituency. The confidence and trust reposed in me shall not be abused. Long live the Parliament of Ghana. Long live Ghana. Thank you.
Great work.
Very well. Yes, honourable members, as said earlier by the Right Honourable Speaker, we have 4, even 5 statements to consider. So let's make our contribution snappy so that we can cover others. So let me start with the Ambassador, Honourable Redu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I stand on Order 93.4 to make this contribution in support of the Honourable Member for Sunyani West. Mr. Speaker, I think that the informal sector's contribution to our economy is not in doubt. To the extent that about 36% of their contribution is captured by our economy, means that they play a significant role in the affairs of Ghana's economy. And yet, we've left them to their fate. Our honourable member did talk about some of the challenges they face, i.e., capital, lack of startup capital. I agree that under the NPP government, a lot of interventions were put in place. One being the NEIP that made available some capital for a lot of these people within the informal sector. Again, the GEA, the YEA, and MASLOC all made available some interventions to help bring this group of people to the level that, or to sort of formalize their engagement, within our economy. They still face a lot of challenges. As we speak, I doubt if people from those who work within the informal sector even get the required minimum wage that they are supposed to take. Again, the conditions that they work under, the KIAs, the hawkers, some work under the scorching sun. Sometimes in rains, they are seen trying to make ends meet. I think time has come for Parliament to engage the new finance minister, because from the presentation, we were told that a person from the Sunyani West constituency did send a word to our finance minister. I think that the message that the person was trying to put across was that in his first budget, that is yet to be read, the minister should consider this group of people. They shouldn't be left behind, and then we try to bring all of them up to this level. Mr. Speaker, I think that one way that we can formalize, one way that we can use to formalize this sector is by what Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia did champion, and that is digitization. The use of the Ghana card, Mr. Speaker, would help formalize the sector. A lot of people can be captured with this. Now, as we speak now, almost everybody in Ghana do possess the Ghana card. It's now used when you go to the banks. So with this, I'm sure that with this,
with this, I'm sure that we can capture a lot of them. In concluding, Mr. Speaker, I would want to thank the Honourable Member for Sunyani West again for bringing this matter to our attention. I think this is a matter that across all the constituencies in Ghana, we as members of parliament are confronted with. Let's all help to bring down the burden of the informal sector and help them stand on their feet. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Let me give the opportunity to the Professor Kitan. Esikado Kitan.
Esikado Kitan.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for affording me this opportunity to speak on this statement. Mr. Speaker, I'm also standing on Order 93-4 to make this comment. The NDC 2024 manifesto outlines strategies to support formalization of the informal sector. This includes simplification of the registration process, making it easier for women in Pojokrom and in Kansarodo in the Esikado Keten constituency to participate in the formal sector. It also talks about forming small business associations and cooperatives and promoting digital payment systems, facilitating business support services. The NDC manifesto also includes tax incentives for small businesses that are moving into the formal economy. Also, the NDC manifesto talks about developing insurance packages for formal workers so that the informal workers can join the formal workers. So on that note, Mr. Speaker, I would like to say that parliamentarians can also play a very crucial role by enacting laws that would reduce the bureaucratic hurdles that they have to go through. The people who are coming from the informal sector who want to join the formal sector are having a lot of bureaucratic hurdles. And so as parliamentarians, I believe that our role would be to reduce these bureaucratic hurdles. We can also advocate for better access to finance and training, as well as ensuring accountability in implementing formalization processes. So, in conclusion, Ghana's informal sector is vital to economic development, job creation, and innovation. Addressing its challenges and integrating it into the formal economy can unlock new opportunities for growth, resilience, and inclusivity, fostering a prosperous future for the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Let me go to Okre.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to add my voice to the statement by our Honourable Member of Sunyani West and to commend her for bringing this matter up. Right Honourable Speaker, the informal sector, as we are all aware, play a very critical role. Unfortunately, the formalization of it has become a challenge. Right Honourable Speaker, under the SY administration, there was the expansion establishment of the Business Advisory Center, which is under the Ministry of Trade. And they are mandated to do a lot of these services for our informal sector. Unfortunately, they take a fee. And so we have a lot of these business advisory centers dotted across the various districts and zones. But to do this registration, they take a fee of an average of our 30 cedis with the GCR. And so in our quest to even open up and even go to these informal women who may not have the time to leave their trade and selling to come and formalize themselves, would also have to pay some facilitation fee again. And so if we are committed to doing formalization for this informal sector, I would think that the Minister for Trade and Industry and now Agro-Business should be able to take off that facilitation fee
And the BAC are mandated and well equipped to do a lot of these things. And so for me, what I want to add, because if you look at the average mason takes about, in a rural area, about 180 cities to 200 cities. And that is a huge amount a day. The average 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom roofing will cost you about 7,000 per 4 carpenters. And this is a huge chunk of money that goes, informally, without passing to the formal sector where government can also tap in. And so for me, I think that if we equip the BAC and waive off this facilitation fee, they should be able to go into the market, go into their homes and their doorsteps and facilitate the formalization. I rightfully submit, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me go to K2 North. Welcome to you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this all-important statement by my colleague from the Sunyani West constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm guided by Order 93.5, and so I'll try and make my submission within 5 minutes.
So you don't go beyond 5 minutes. Very well.
As stipulated in the standing orders. Mr. Speaker, the informal sector or the informal economy contributes significantly to Ghana's economic development. As we speak today, over 85% of Ghana's workforce are within the informal economy. And so it is very important for us as the legislative body of the Republic of Ghana to consider taking steps or advocating for the challenges that confront the informal sector to be addressed. Because as soon as you address the challenges facing the informal sector, you are addressing the social challenges that confront the young people of this country, especially the issue of unemployment. Mr. Speaker, I believe that we can learn from best practice from elsewhere, even within the African continent, and consider the most successful pathways to formalization. We can learn from Kenya, we can learn from Rwanda. I want to make a proposal of 4 key initiatives that the government of the day must consider so that we address the challenges facing the informal sector and formalize the informal sector. The first one is for us to decentralize the business support services and the registration centers. It is important for institutions like the Registrar General to consider having offices in each district assembly so that the market woman at the Veta Junction can walk comfortably into the district assembly in Ketu North and have her business registered. When that is done, it will even lead to reduction in taxes, because the moment we widen the tax net, government will be able to generate much more revenue, and Ghana will make more, will raise more funds in order to fund development. And so let us decentralize the registration to the district centers. The second thing is for us to consider extending social support services like pension schemes, as promised in the NDC manifesto, to people in the informal sector. That will become an incentive to invite many of them to register. Imagine the Okada riders, the market women, the farmers, tailors, seamstresses, and other artisans in my constituency, if they have the opportunity to contribute monthly for pension, I believe it will be an incentive that will get many of them interested in registering their businesses. Government must act on this promise and ensure that we formalize that. Also, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I want to propose that we need to, again, go back to the conversation on using digital platform or digitalization. And in doing so, it must be done properly, not one that brings cost, extra cost to the ordinary Ghanaian. And that is why I'm excited that President Mahama is living to his promise of scrapping the e-levy, which became a burden to market women who wanted to save on their mobile money wallets and all of that. Because in the past, many of the constituencies or many districts today, there are no bank services available to these women or people in the informal sector. So mobile money became an avenue for them to save their resources or their little earnings after a hard day's work. So the moment a tax is placed on it, like the e-levy, that becomes a disincentive. And that is why I am happy that President Mahama has proposed to scrapping the e-levy. I believe this will encourage many more people to use digital platforms.
Thank you.
And then we'll do away with a cash society and migrate to a cashless society.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Let me go to Ifia, from Ifia.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to associate myself with...
Honorable Isaac Boama, hold on. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I'm told you have about 4 statements to be read.
Yes, I know.
So if you don't manage the contributors,
I know.
It's going to create problems for us.
I know.
Thank you very much.
Let me, before we come to the end of this session, let me remind all first-timers that per our standing orders, tomorrow will be last Wednesday of the month, and tomorrow we give much attention to the first-timers as Backbenchers Day. So tomorrow we'll ask you to lead the House in so many areas. So tomorrow we give you another time to express yourself. So, Honorable Isaac Boama, you may continue.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I also want to associate myself with the statement read by the Honorable Member from Sunyani West. I've lived in Sunyani during my early days of work at Ghana Revenue Authority, so I know the economy in Sunyani. But, Mr. Speaker, before I give a 2-minute submission, I still want to reference our standing orders. The other time, we spoke about the accessibility of the statement to members. And then we agreed under 93.
Honorable Member, just do the contribution first. We'll come to address that particular issue.
Okay.
Let's focus on the real contribution to this. Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. So with that guidance, I would just go straight to the issue of supporting the women and the people under the informal sector. As we all rightly know, when we take the Ghanaian economy, most of the people in Ghana form or they come under the informal sector. And then our ability to make sure that we empower the informal sector sets as the bedrock to the development of this country and the economy. My concern in this direction is on the
It's not a direct post where you will be able to whether this is your post or not. And the questioner is saying that if that is your answer, he wants to abandon any further question on that and proceed on another angle. So let's take it in good faith and allow him to proceed on another angle, but not what you are not able to identify, whether it is your post or not your post. Your post or not your post.
And let me remind you on a lighter note that the fact that I'm grilling you does not mean that when you get there and you are supposed to give protocol allocation, you deny me. I'm telling you, you cannot, because yes, there is, and committee members benefited. Yes, there is something like that. When I was a defense committee member, your ranking, your members benefited. I am saying it on authority. They did. They even had more than with the MPP members. They did. I'm not. That's a fact. Kennedy Japan was the chair of the Defense and Interior Committee. They benefited. So I'm telling you that when you are giving, don't think that because I grilled you,
You will not allocate
Honorable Ranking Member.
I did.
Honorable Ranking Member, I have also been in this house for some time. I was a member of Parliament and at a point became the ranking member for Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, a very important committee of Parliament. But I know nothing called protocol. What really happened is that our constituents will come with the form. Then as a member of Parliament, you have to be pleading with the sector ministers whether or not they can help. So that is what I know. But I have not seen a situation where they say that a member, you have this number of people, go to your constituency and bring them to come and join military. And I'll keep on making this particular point to the Ghanaians. So I beg, please, if some people were treated that way, then there is an element of discrimination. Because some of us didn't know what is even protocol. We go to beg. You plead like you are becoming a defense minister. It is time for recruitment into the military. You will see members of parliament coming to your office to come and plead and intervene on behalf of their constituents. But you won't tell them that, oh, I have 10 members, go and bring them automatically to come and join the military. That is not it. So let me use the opportunity to clear the doubts.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Recruitments and enlistments will follow the rules of engagement strictly. You have my assurance.
Honorable nominee, what is your party's or your government defense policy? What is your government's defense policy?
To ensure a safe, peaceful, and prosperous nation that is respected among the Committee of Nations.
Do you have that enactment as contained in your manifesto with you, what you've just said?
You would have to put a lot together, because you should know that the manifesto one are promises. For government policy, okay, the party has transitioned into government. You are vetting the minister designate. You are vetting the minister. You are vetting the minister designate. And actually, the defense policy document is as old as 2012, thereabout. Mr. Chair.
Do you have a copy of your manifesto with you?
I do.
You have it in soft?
Yes, soft copy.
Please open the aspects that deals with the defense policy of your government. We need to have some exercise there. I have some questions for you on your defense policy as a government. You made a lot of promises. Let's deal with some questions on your defense policy.
Public safety, 148. Yes. Mr. Chair, I'm there.
Proceed to read it aloud and in extenso.
Mr. Chairman, it is quite lengthy. So if you are to...
You have a preamble to read.
Public safety and security. Public safety and security have declined significantly since...
No. Is that your defense policy?
You will... They go... You see, you need to take it. Honorable, you need to
preamble to your defense policy.
So you want the Ghana Armed Forces?
Page what? I have your defense. I have your... Wait. I have it here with me. Wait.
Exactly. So that's why I took it from 6.4. If you want Ghana Armed Forces, it's 6.4.7.
Momento. Yes, that's your 6.4. What paragraph are you referring to?
Exactly. So that's why I'm trying to...
Paragraph,
Honorable, I'm trying to guide that if you want Ghana Armed Forces, go to 6.4.7.
Wait.
If you want public safety...
No, but public safety has nothing to do
6.4.
with your defense policy.
Oh,
my respected colleague, Honorable Boama, would want to...
Honorable, they are linked.
Provide a guide.
That is why the defense and strategy...
Chairman, I'm sorry. Chairman, I'm sorry.
They are linked.
Chairman.
Is it the abridged version or the full version? This is the full version.
I have the full version, Chairman. Sorry.
Let me hear Honorable Boama.
I think leader wants to end, but wants you to look at the preamble to the entire security architecture. That is 6.4, where it talks about the retooling, professionalism. That's short paragraph. I'm sure from there you go to the police, fire service, armed forces. We've read your manifesto. We understand it.
Yes. So that is why
we know the paragraphs. That's why we directed you to 6.4. So that's all.
Thank you.
That's all he wants to know.
Thank you very much. So, Honorable Nominee, you are accordingly guided. You now know what you should read.
Yes. So 6.4, public safety and security. Public safety and security declined significantly since 2017. We have seen an explosion of violent crime, partisan political capture of security services, and falling professional standards. The next NDC government will critically review the national security architecture and comprehensively implement reforms to ensure professionalism. The reforms will primarily focus on equipping all security agencies to effectively execute their mandate towards ensuring the well-being, personal safety, and security in Ghana. The following policies will be implemented. Then it goes...
Hold on a second. Let's stop there. Now, would you be surprised from what you've just said? And I will quote: public safety and security have declined significantly since 2017. We have seen an explosion of violent crime, partisan political capture of security services, and falling professional standards. I'll pick it one after the other. One, would you be surprised with statistics from the Ghana Police Service to the effect that public safety and security have rather improved? Would you be surprised to receive statistics, data from the Ghana Police Service that since 2017 up until now, we have seen an improved public safety and security? Would you be surprised to see that data and statistics? You'll be surprised.
Yes.
Very well. Next. Would you again be surprised to receive data and statistics from the police that we have seen a reduction in violent crime since 2017? Would you be surprised?
Yes.
All right. Now, Doc, I suggest to you that what you just read has nothing to do with the defense policy of your government. I want to suggest that to you.
Honorable, you see, this is why you should have listened to me. Because to have a defense policy, it has to be a progeny of the national security architecture. And that was even what was lacking in the 2012 or so defense policy. At the time that there was no national security strategy. So that is why I was asking, should I go and read Ghana Armed Forces? Is that what you are asking for? Or you want the entirety? Honorable, please, I need your attention. Yes.
Have our attention.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. So I'm saying that I was trying to make that point, that defense policy emanates from a bigger national security strategy, architecture. So you cannot just zoom into the Ghana Armed Forces. That is why I took it from there. And then when you said no, I then went down to the Ghana Armed Forces. Then I was asking you, should I read Ghana Armed Forces? The Honorable Buama said, no, I should go back to the public safety. Honorable Buama said, no, I should go back to the public safety and security. So, if you guide me appropriately and provide exactly what you want, I have the document here. I brought it because of questions such as this, so that we can refer. I will gladly read them, whichever one that you want.
Honorable nominee, you stated in your CV that you were a Catholic, correct? A practicing one, for that matter.
Yes, correct.
To what extent would you a Roman Catholic? Which parish, please?
Christ the King. Christ the King.
Very well. To what extent has the Catholic Church prepared you in moral values to the extent that you are able to embrace diversity, especially as you assume this office as defense minister of your country?
Thank you very much. I owe my ability to even be in national politics partly to what I went through in the Catholic Church. We spoke about the Cadet Commandery 403 in Koforidua, which I was president of. You come across several people, both privileged and underprivileged youth. You deal with all of them coming from different backgrounds. As a former mass servant, you come across many people. Again, we've interacted with several priests, both foreign and Ghanaian priests, who really exposed us to the real world and answered our questions, some of them which bordered on even the Trinity and all. So in terms of diversity, the Catholic Church is a very diverse church, people from all walks of life, several backgrounds, and I have interacted with them, and I still continue to interact with them.
So how does this background prepare you to embrace the diversity you are going to face at the Defense Ministry?
I go there not just as somebody that the Catholic Church has prepared. I go there as someone who has been baked in many ways through different experiences. My work with the military, medical practice, other political engagements, and everything. So it is holistic. The values that we've been taught, the Christian value of tolerance, is also something that leads me, and I believe that even people who deliberately would decide to take me on the rough road, they believe that he's very forgiving. So he's likely to forgive them. That is why they continue to do it. So I'm going to the ministry as a very tolerant person, somebody who believes in the doctrine of love your neighbor as yourself.
Of course, your faith is well-founded.
Extremely.
Let me conclude by saying that this morning there was a little issue about your appearance. We had received some information to the effect that you were to be here at 9. Apparently, the letter to you stated 11. And I think my respected colleague at the bar, Madam Joyce Bawa Mutari, was quick to alert us. But this was after I had passed some comment. Let me unreservedly say sorry to you to the extent that some listeners and viewers had construed that to mean that you were late in coming to us. I mean, I think it is only fair that I, in your presence, reiterate that point. So it was no fault of yours. That said, I have nothing useful to add to all the questions I've asked you. I wish you well. You would hear from us as a committee. Thank you very much, sir.
Honourable members, thank you very much. Let me also add that apology for any comment coming from any member of the committee regarding you coming before us late. In the morning, I stated clearly to all the members of the committee that in life, patience is the key. So sometimes we need to be patient. There is an adage in my language that it is out of patience that you will be able to operate an ant so as to be able to see the intestine. So patience is a cardinal point in life, so that we hasten slowly. Honourable members, at long last, we've come to the end of the vetting of the minister designate for defense. Honourable members, permit me to proceed to recognize his guests. We have in our midst Lieutenant General Bismarck Onwuna, Chief of the Army. We have Vice Admiral Issa Yakubu, Chief of the Naval Staff. We have Air Commodore Eric Ajafrimpong, Acting Chief of the Air Staff. We have Honorable Joyce Bawa Muntari, Senior Presidential Advisor and Special Aide. We have Honorable Marietta Brew Opon, or Apia Opon, former Attorney General and Minister responsible for justice, now legal advisor to the President. We have Honorable Faustina Nelson, Senior Comrade. We have Obobia Dako Opoku, Deputy Communication Director, NDC. We have Mahdi Jibril, Deputy Election Director, NDC. And we have Tanko Rashid, Deputy Election Director, NDC. We have Regional Chairman, Ashanti, Upper West, Western North, and Eastern Region. And we also have Honorable Dr. Kobna Dufo, former Minister responsible for Finance. You are all welcome. If I've not been able to mention your name, you are also welcome. Honorable nominee, you will surely hear from the committee and you are hereby discharged.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
The next nominee should take his seat.
Yes, no line.
Honorable, please take your seat.
Wow, what a session it has been. Gets intense at a point and then it simmers down at